Hello everybody, my name is Alex. Welcome to 113. It's gonna be a YouTube series about making a cafe racer out of this 1982 Suzuki GS650. This episode will be an introductory video to show you the origins, the current condition, my intention, and the plans for this project. To make a long story short, I ride dirt bikes. Yep. And some time ago, I decided that for the first time in my life, it's time for me to get a street motorcycle as well. So I was in the market for a 650cc to 700cc naked motorcycle, and naturally I ended up looking at the Yamaha XSR 700 and the Suzuki SV650. Both motorcycles are about 10,000 Canadian dollars after all the fees and taxes. And while I was deciding, I stumbled across this ad on Marketplace. So just as the ad says, it's a 1982 Suzuki GS650, a cafe racer project with no more and no less, but $3,000 in parts invested into it. I have a very hard time to believe that they actually invested $3,000 in here. You will see why. The guy also says that it requires some electrical work and some other stuff. Anyways, I came to see the motorcycle. It was evening and I didn't ask too many questions. I really fell in love with the proportions of the motorcycle, the lines, the design, and somehow the way that it looks. I just thought that it's something I want to work on. And without asking too many questions, I just paid 1,100 Canadian dollars for the project and I brought it home. The motorcycle didn't have a choke, a clutch, or a throttle cable, so it took me a while, but eventually I was able to make it run. And it sounds like hell if you ask me. And from this point and on, for about 2.5 months, this bike was just sitting here in this garage, and I was basically researching, spending 15 to 20 minutes each day to kind of assess, inspect components, read about them. And before we're gonna start and actually plan our build, I just want to show you the condition and the current state of this motorcycle. 40 years ago, when this motorcycle came out of the Suzuki assembly line, it was looking like this. Nothing too exciting, just a mid-size 4-cylinder 5-speed carbureted cruiser motorcycle. It seems like the previous owners tried to make a cafe racer out of it. A cafe racer is a style in motorcycle customization to make the motorcycle look like a 1960 race motorcycle. The problem is, however, is that the previous owner started the project in a very unprofessional and actually terrible way, completed about 25% of it, and abandoned the project. So problem number one is that it's a shaft-driven motorcycle. It means that instead of replacing a sprocket here, a sprocket there, and a chain, I need to deal now with rebuilding a whole bunch of moving parts here, here, and here. There is also a separate lubrication system. The suspension is not original, it's actually lower than the original one. The mufflers are missing, they're supposed to be somewhere here, but they're missing. We have this gigantic acid battery we're gonna have to replace. Foot pegs are ancient. Those two foot peg mount bolts, they're completely gone. They're flat, I don't even know how to remove them at this point. We have a missing clamp here on the propeller shaft cover. So the seat, it's a $50 seat from Amazon. It doesn't even fit the shape of the gas tank. The electrical system is completely messed up. The wires are spray painted, connected with the wrong types of splices. We have components hanging in here. All of this must be taken care of. Throughout the entire motorcycle, there's missing hardware, so missing screws here, here, here. Some screws or bolts, they won't match the original. In some, the thread is completely stripped. Here is one of the most horrible parts about this motorcycle. What they did, they just bent the frame and connected somehow with two screws without welding an actual hoop. This beam here is also very poorly made. Weldings are very unprofessional, measurement is wrong. The handlebars were very poorly attached with this aluminum plate right here. Basically, the only part that's holding the handlebar to the forks is that nut. The handlebar switches are horrible. They're $40 from Amazon. Very, very bad quality. Same for the brake and clutch levers, Chinesium, very unpleasant to touch. The gauges are a bad reminder for the 1980s. They're both analog, missing the cables. Gas tank was wrapped with carbon fiber. Very bad job. I'm gonna have to repaint that. The entire front end came out of the first gen Yamaha R1. It's a 1000cc crouch rocket, so the forks, the wheel, the brakes, everything came out of this bike. In the front, we're gonna have a 7-inch full LED headlight with low beam, high beam, and daytime running light. Some builders will offer a budget build. It's totally possible when you have a fully equipped garage with welding equipment, sanding equipment, painting equipment, and metal fabricating equipment. Those people have vast experience and skills with everything to do with motorcycles, something that I don't have. These builders don't have the need to outsource parts of their job to professionals, and they can do extremely complicated tasks such as reconfiguring the frame and the suspension, processes that are requiring good craftsmanship and experience. Building a custom bike is a long and complicated project. Many people will overwhelmed by the amount of time, effort, and money required to build it properly and will abandon the project right away in the beginning. In this series, I will try to explain how to plan and execute such a project. I call this project 113 as a homage for the 113th Squadron of the Israeli Air Force. Ages ago, I used to be a helicopter mechanic there. Many of my technical abilities and skills were acquired during my time with those guys. So my requirements from this project are: 1. This motorcycle must be safe, meaning that mechanically and electrically it must be sound. So everything, including the forks, the suspension, the motor, the drive shaft, all the seals, all the bearings, the electrical must be rebuilt or replaced. Number 2, the motorcycle must be in a showroom condition, meaning that everything must be nice, clean, painted, and shiny. The third thing is for this motorcycle to be unique. I want this bike to be a showstopper. I want people to look at it as an artwork of two wheels. As far as I can see, I will require 5 things to complete this project. So number 1, some basic technical skills and basic technical knowledge. I wouldn't start this project if I wouldn't knew how a 4-stroke motor is working and how to work an angle grinder. Number 2, you're gonna have to need a place. In my case, I have my single garage, which I'm using for my dirt bikes, and it's gonna be a perfect place for this project. Number 3, you will require some basic tools. You'll need a basic set of tools, such as screwdrivers, pliers and vice grips, wrenches, torques, basically torque wrenches, sockets, a set of measuring tools and cutting tools, along with a set of tools to work with electricity, such as the multimeter right here, the wire stripper, and the soldering iron. Number 4, you're gonna need time. Something like this will take many months to complete. Realistically, you're gonna have to dedicate 2 or 3 sessions every week to make this project ready in anywhere between 6 to 10 months. Number 5, money. Depends how deep you're willing to go with it. In my case, I was willing to spend about 10 grand in a brand new motorcycle, so it will be fair to estimate a budget of about $10,000 and no more for this one. And although $10,000 sounds like a lot of money, you still need to buy tools, materials, and parts. Most of the parts are coming from the United States, and for people like me who live outside the United States, I live in Canada, the parts might cost about 30% more expensive due to custom, taxes, and delivery charges. You also need to include outsourcing in this budget, meaning that certain welding jobs or painting jobs were going to have to be done by other professionals. After I made sure I have all the 5 things required to build this project, I ordered a service manual from eBay, basically this book right here. So here you can see all the manufacturer torques, diagrams, procedures, and everything else to do with this motorcycle. Please don't judge me too hard, this is my first YouTube video ever. I hope you will join next time and maybe even hit the like and subscribe buttons to support this project. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alex. See you next time.